Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mike Minutes. I am Mike, obviously. This is the fourth installment or episode, however you would like to refer to it, of my show. And we started off this show. You guys weren't privy to it, but my moderator, I asked her for a drum roll, and instead of or on the table or something, she did what? How did you do it again? I don't know if you can do it. She's all almost sound like a sprinkler head. So it was just one of those moments we'd like to share with you. Anyways, tonight's episode is going to be yet again a little different. Since this is a new channel, and obviously every episode seems to be quite different so far, I thought I'd dive into politics, everybody's favorite subject. And what better way than to dive into politics than with Donald Trump? And since he is in the news yet again, this time being indicted by the DOJ, I figured, you know what? Let's talk about him just a little bit. Now, I want to say I will not be getting political on every episode. I might not even get political on half my episodes. We've already had a discussion about this, and the moderator's going, yes, that is correct. So what we are going to do, though, is share a little excerpt from Sean Hannity's show, which aired on Friday, June 9th, and it starred Mark Levin. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Mark Levin, but he is in my opinion, brilliant commentator. He was still is a lawyer. He was a #1 best-selling author in the New York Times. And he also worked under the Reagan administration. But in any case, he had some interesting things to say about this latest indictment for what Donald Trump's going through. And we all know it has to do with all these classified documents that they found at Mar-a-Lago, which they didn't find them. I mean, quite literally, the man was asked to show agents. He brought them in. And I mean, that's just a long old story. Anyways, they knew about it. They said, just throw a lock on the door and it'll be great. It was a secured area enough. He complied. Things have changed because we all know what's coming up here in 2024. Anyways, I'll let Mark Levin explain a little bit better. Be forewarned, if you've never watched the man before, he does get a little bit heated when he gets energized like this. So he starts to gradually increase the volume of his voice. I mean, me personally, I find it kind of amusing, and I like to see a man who's very impassioned like that. But it might be disconcerting to some of you. So without another moment of hesitation, here's the clip.
President Trump is 76 years old. If the Department of Justice gets his way, he will die in federal prison. The Presidential Records Act is not a criminal statute, and it was never intended to be. The Department of Injustice and this clown prosecutor spent a lot of time at The Hague. They probably figured these laws could be used to try and entrap Trump. This is a document case. A document case where a president of the United States or a former president faces 100 years in federal prison. Is this some kind of a sick joke on the American people? So there is no violation of the Presidential Records Act at this point.
Okay, I wanted to pause real quick here what Mark was just saying, and this is very important. The political climate today is one where they're not even just trying to stop the opposition. They're not trying to just merely prosecute him. They want to crush him, destroy him, remove any opposition for this new 2024 election coming up. And I think it's very key what he was just mentioning, because if you're related to him, if you've worked for him, if you worked with him, you're a target as well. And that's just not normal politics. That's dirty. I mean, extremely dirty. So anyways, back to the clip. Let's let Mark explain some more.
They go after his attorneys. They make them testify. They're attorneys under the crime fraud exception to attorney-client privilege. That means he didn't have due process. His own lawyers were being subjected to interrogations.
Okay, so what Mark just brought up here was very pivotal. They're denying him his due process, especially in the realm of attorney-client privilege, which is something, confidentiality between you and your attorney, whether it's court-appointed or you paid for them yourself. Any information, any talks that go on between you and your attorney have to remain there unless the attorney is given permission by you, the client, to disclose that. Now, all of a sudden, that's out the window. This is due process has been this way for forever. And now all of a sudden they can't do this. This is a part of that two-tier justice system you might have heard, probably a lot of you have, that's becoming more and more prevalent and established in this country. It's disturbing and it should scare everyone. Anyways, back to the clip.
They indict him today in Miami. All of a sudden we have a Florida grand jury because the moron in Washington figured out that there are venue issues that could lose him his case. And he's undermining the country. And he's interfering with a presidential election. You want to talk about an insurrection? This is an insurrection.
Well, I really do like Mark Levin there. I really appreciate his passion for what he's talking about. And the man has definitely moved. Like I said, he worked for the Reagan administration. Interesting thing, too, I chose not to mention the beginning because I wanted people to kind of get the idea that, well, he was pro-Trump. Well, he is definitely pro-Trump now. In the beginning, he endorsed Ted Cruz back in the 2016 election, and he was actually one of the never-Trumpers. But after Trump received the nomination by the Republican Party, he decided, all right, well, I will support him. And ever since then, he's actually grown more and more and more of an advocate for Donald Trump. And thank God that he is. More people need to speak up. I mean, I know there are a lot of people who don't like how Donald Trump speaks. I mean, there are times I wish the man would just, but you have to admit, there were so many things he did right during his administration. Yes, he has a very hard personality to swallow at times, but I would take that any day over the mess and the disaster we have going on in the White House right now. They have managed to completely unravel not only everything good that he did and set us in the right direction, but they've implemented so many things. I mean, there is a war going on in your gas stove now. I mean, seriously, are they going to actually try and ban that? Anyways, that's a discussion for another time. It's just some of the ridiculous things that actually come up that grind my gears, for lack of better words. But I did want to say, too, he was very important on what he brought up about this double standard. It is part of that two-tier justice system. Rules for me and not for thee. I did hear that a while ago, and I really do appreciate that. There is more to this clip. So if you would like to check out more of Mark Levin, he does have a syndicated radio show, The Mark Levin Show. And he has like aforementioned, a show on Fox News Network on Sundays called Life, Liberty, and Levin. He is worth a listen to. If you can handle his gradual aggression and loud talking and almost borderline screaming, every once in a while I could just imagine him taking and just chucking something at the screen because he just gets so into it. I do like the guy. Anyways, I want to thank you for joining me tonight or today or this morning. Like I've said before, whenever you're watching, I'm just grateful that you're watching. So thank you. You guys have a great day. I almost forgot the most important part. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.